Alright guys, so here's the Jewel Trading Challenge inside the Spaces area of Dark Horse Labs. So I already posted what we'll be doing. Alright, so for me, my trading, my my focus is going to be Bitcoin, and then I'm going to choose one of the crypto gainers list. Um, so basically, that gives me a little bit of flexibility because Bitcoin is predictable. It has the liquidity. All right, so it's an easier asset to focus on a trade. But I do have the itch to want to do something a little bit more volatile. All right, and so choosing from the crypto gainers list, which I'll show you on Blowfin, I'll be able to tap into some assets that are look way more volatile, that have a lot more upside potential, right? Example, I'm on Blowfin, so if we go over here to the gainers tab, and you can do this on core market as well, and you can do this on CoinGlass. All right, so right now we got WLD. It's up 28% basically in the last 24 hours. So it's the top gainer for right now. Right. I also can go over to CoinGlass and we can look at. We'll go over here to market. See market right here, and I can go over to gainers and losers. Right. Click on that. And I like this one because you can pick down to the 5, 15, 30, 1 hour, 4, 12, 24 hour. So let's go to, if I'm day trading, let's just say I want to get in for ease. All right. So you see what's happening. I can come in here. I can look at this one right here, Bernie. It's up 7%. I like this is because it's at the 5 minute, which means it can give me a jump start. All right. So let me go in and let's look at Bernie. Was it Bernie? I guess it's it right here. And look, this doesn't mean that these assets show up on whatever broker I'm using. I don't know, right? But all right, you see we got the uh, whatever 7% that was moved. All right, I can look for some setups based off of this. All right, this is based off the 5 minute chart. I'm on a 15 minute on my trading view, but if I go down to the 5 minute, I can see what's happening right here. Of course, I can see that this was some form of a flat pattern that had formed on this, right? With breaking out of, and I can just look for whatever setup that I'm trying to look for. All right, and I'm just going through this in an informal manner. All right, so you guys can basically see what I'm seeing. All right, and that'll be basically my target if I'm looking to take this particular trade. And then I can also measure. Of course, I have to measure here if I'm entering here, but that's an 18%. If I'm using Blowfin, then I can use anywhere between 3 to 5x leverage, and that's what you will have. Now, when I'm trading futures or crypto, when it comes to Bitcoin, I go I go larger in my leverage. Why? Because Bitcoin, like I give you an example. So uh, let's do from Monday here all the way up to here. This thing moved 54%. All right, let's go to Bitcoin right quick. And what is it? Monday. All right, let's do Monday low right here, all the way up to here. All right, I might have to pause this video because I got some trades actually going on. I need to check to make sure the boy's doing good. All right, even for right here, look, that's only 2% move, guys. All right, so you see I could go much larger over here for the 2%, all right, but it's safer, all right? Let me pause real quick, I got some trades. All right, so yeah, back over here. So this is Blue AI. You see right here, this is Monday, and up to here, it got to about 28%. All right, but remember, if you look at that Bitcoin move, it's only 2%. All right, so one gives me a little bit more smooth move, and I can go larger, it can be safer. Now watch this. If I'm going 10 to 15x leverage on Bitcoin, I'm not going 15 or 10x on no Blue AI or any of these crypto gainers. Why? Because if it goes in the opposite direction, that would destroy my account. All right. So basically I go heavier on Bitcoin because if it does go in the wrong direction, it's not catastrophic because it moves much smoother. It has more liquidity. The more liquidity something is in, the less volatile with these erratic moves, right? This asset doesn't have the same amount of liquidity as Bitcoin. But because if I'm a smaller player in the market, I can get in and out, all right, because my position is not large. For instance, there's a lot of people think that, oh, well, this move 28%, right? Okay, if I do a 10x leverage, I make 280% on my money, right? Imagine if I was a multimillionaire, I can come in the market and I can do what? I can put let's say it's $100,000 position. If I do a 10x, I'm actually controlling $1 million worth of blue AI. All right. Here's the problem. Okay. If you put $100,000 down and you do a 10x, okay. And we're just looking back in hindsight, but let's say you enter right here. Right, let's do this. You enter right here. Let's do this. Let's find a. Let's do this right here. Better, right? Let's say you enter right here. Okay, you're up 3%. All right, your $100,000, you now are up. That's 3% times 10. That's 30%. So your $100,000 that you got up, your real cash, you got $30,000. Now, of course, this is large numbers, and I'm just trying to get you to see if you was a bigger player or what it would look like. All right, you up 30. You may move your stop loss into profit. I don't know. You may be feeling really good. Who knows? All right, but here's your entry point. All right, but also here's your drawdown. All right, now you're down 19,000. That's 1.9% times 10. Okay, so you're down $19,000 now, where you was up 30. Can you handle that? I don't know. That maybe your psychology can. If you're using paper money, then yeah, you can handle that. Who cares? Maybe you would have took. I don't know your strategy, but I'm just showing you how big that drawdown is versus if I had 3x. All right. At max, I may do 5, but 3 is the sweet spot. I like to do 3x on these. All right, because I will make up in it when it fully moves. Now, you leave it alone, okay? You leave it alone, and you had to draw down, and now you're up because we're coming to this point. Now you're up 4.8%. That's 48%. All right, you're up $48,000. But here we go again. All right, remember you enter in right here. You're back down. All right, look at this drop right here. Of course, it's not going to be from the top, but you just gave all those gains back, and now you're technically are down 0.69%. Do that times 10. Right? You up. I wouldn't know it. Let me see what the math is on that. You got 0.69. It's going to be a little bit less. Right below on the penny mark. Right, here we go. So you got 0.69. So it comes out to about a little over 6.9. Yeah, so 6.9%. All right. Now, here we go. Back up. See the yo-yo effect? Like I can't, I don't, and you know what I'm saying? I don't know what your targets would be on this, but if you hold it, but look at this massive drop from up here down, right? And what I'm trying to show you is that if you got that heavy leverage, right, now you're down 11%, and you do that times 10. Okay, you just blew your account. Your account go. You had 100,000, now that this is 11.73, basically. times 10, you get what I'm saying? There's 117 something $1,000, and you had 100,000. Of course, you would have been liquidated. But this is just if it was bad trading. If you just felt lucky, you told yourself that you were gonna go get up here, all right, hit these targets, all right. That's 12% gain times 10. That's 120% on top of your 100,000. You're gonna make $120,000, and now your sitting balance will be 220,000 because you had your base of 100. That's what people will look at. So it looks good when it works, but you got to play defense from the start. Okay, so yes, I like the volatility, but what it does is it creates me an opportunity that I can take advantage of the volatility, but use less leverage to protect my downside. Okay, so if something moves 2% and I got 3x, okay, I made 6% of my money. I could take that. Why? Because I'm day trading and I can get multiple of those in a day. The gainers list is going to move throughout the day. So this is going to give me multiple opportunities. Like this wild. Okay, boom, it's up 30% now. It's keep rising, right? Let's go look at it. That's not wild, it's WorldCoin. Right? You got WorldCoin. Okay? So you got your WorldCoin that keeps inching up. But look at this growth, all right, that if I could have detected essentially maybe from in here up to there, it's 28%. All right. You do your 28% times 3. All right, where we at? Around 84. So it's 84% on my money. So even if I'm risking $100, all right, I just made $84. And I could do this with multiple of these. I could go down this list and I can look and see how I can play it. Now I just measured from a random place, but you get what I'm saying. Bitcoin will be my foundation of steadiness as I do this 30-day challenge, and this will give me the best of both worlds to get my day trade in with more opportunities because. Some of you are going to be working at it, but with the crypto, it's 24, all right, 7. It gives you the opportunity, all right, so I can play that market. So that's one of the reasons why I want to pick that. So that's what it means by when you see crypto gainers list. Oh, and also, like I said, you can do this on CoinGlass as well, too. Like I said, you look on the 5-minute, you see how these gainers are changing. We were just looking at, I forgot what the other one was. That we looked, but it wasn't this one when we first got on here. Right? So here's in the last 15 minutes, right? And you may find some pops. Now, these are the ones I like to stay away from. Them 713K, not enough volume. This is decent. Yeah, all right. This is decent. So you can set a rule, all right? Maybe you need a few $1 million in volume because the less the volume, the heavier the swings are going to be, right? So it may go into your favor, but if it don't, it could be a minor little pullback, and that minor pullback could be a simple 7%. All right, let's see if we can find one. Like, let's look at this penguin, and let's see if penguin. This. See how bad that is. That's on 5 minutes, 30 minutes. Let's go look at. Yeah, you see, this doesn't chart don't look good at all. Let's look at another one. All right, that's better. All right, here go penguin. Let's look at this little drop right here, and you got this. All right, you see that? You see that? This is just a simple 11. That's 11%. But look at that drop. All right. So this was at 7:30 on Monday. All right. Let's go look at Bitcoin at 7:30 on Monday. 7:30 a.m. on Monday. Where's Bitcoin? All right, so it's 7 a.m. Check this out. Let's see something. What is this? 7 right here. Let's do 7 a.m. 7:30 between here. All right, here we go. Let's drop. See that? 0.35%. That ain't even 1%. But the other one was 11. So you see the drawdown versus that one. That's what we'll be mindful of. All right. Let's go back and look. Forex. I'm only gonna do the U.S. dollar and Canadian dollar versus the Euro JPY. All right. So this is Forex. If I want to trade it, I don't have to. But if I'm going to trade Forex, it's just going to be either U.S. dollar, Canadian dollar, or Euro, Japanese yen. That's it. All right. So I figure out now. Here are the strategies that I'll be using before we get there. And then we got equities. I use SPY, and then I do earnings. All right. So the earnings, okay, this is what it will look like. I could go here. I could do earnings. You see, you got the screener. Go up here. You click on screener. All right. Signal. I want earnings after or earnings before. All right. Earnings before means that if you click on this, these are all the earnings that are happening right now before. Basically, before means it's during the market. So this is ZS, I believe. Right? So their earnings will be today. Right? So it happened during the day. All right, and then your earnings after tab, okay, will be those when the market basically closes. I'm sorry, this one is after. I'm sorry, ZS is after. So you see how I got the E right here. So it'll happen when the market closes today, and then you have your earnings before. Okay. So let's do AutoZone. So AutoZone should be during the session today. Right. So you see how right now they did it. They reported 4.84 billion. The estimated was 4.86. So they missed earnings. So guess what I'm doing? I'm looking to go long because that is my strategy on this. Now, before I do that, I got to go back and I got to look at all the other earnings. All right. So you see right here, they had a negative again. All right, on this date, and I got to study it. So this is on March 3rd. All right, but by March 5th, they did rise. They had a dip back. They did push back up here. All right, and then they eventually rolled over. Okay, so they did have some form of pop, but whenever this also beat, it's also green, right? Whenever you have a green earnings signal, okay, you want to be looking for shorts, and then we eventually got it. You see how we go down, right? So over here, yes, we have the green, right? And we did miss, right? But I want a little bit of a pop, right? So I want to reverse this a little bit, and I have an impulse, right? So then I use my Fibonacci retracement tools, and I can play this game, and I'm just waiting for my levels to be met. If we get the cross move, I try to trade it back, all right? But I also do study on each one of these, right? So everybody's earnings is different, but that's a strategy that I can use. Guess what? Earnings is somebody having earnings almost every day. So this gives me the opportunity. What is my stabilization? SPY. Right? This I'm doing SPY. In fact, I'm in a long right now on SPY. All right. Why am I in a long on SPY? What strategy am I using? Okay, let's come right over here. All right, and this is called forexclientsentiment.com. I am looking at the SPX 500. You see 68% are short. If 68% are short, okay, then whoa, why are we agreeing? Yeah, exactly. We don't want to follow the majority. All right, so we are looking for long setups, and I've been a long setup based off of that. We want to sweep them, we want to get rid of them, and then when that number starts to change, then we'll be looking to do something else. But for right now, 68% is short, they're getting wiped out right now. So that's a simple strategy on SPY, SPX. If you want to do SPX, I could do that. Now, do I have to do the earnings one? I don't. But it gives me the flexibility. If I feel like I want to do it, I can. But I don't mean I have to, right? But that gives me that because there'll be sometimes that SPY may be ranging too much and it's not giving you something. I'm like, okay, I can go find some other things. And I could do multiple earning ones. I can find something, right? So that's that. So that's that. And then I got my strategies that I'm using. Okay, I'm using previous day high low sweeps. And if you don't know what that basically is, all right, that's essentially, all right. You see, I have my indicators right here. It's the previous day high, and here's the previous day low. It's always on the chart. Okay. Typically, I will play this, but I'm not going to play this right now because it's not giving me anything. All right, but let's see if we got an asset to where you can see in real time. Here's a good one. All right, this is Bitcoin, and you notice something. Right, it broke the previous day high, and then it pulled back in the range. That's exactly what we will try to trade. Right, what we'll do, we find the impulse that pushed it out of the range, and then we play our levels. 11.8 cross, stop loss above, take it down to the 50 or 61%. You're out of the trade. We're done. Right, here we go again. We got another potential. Well, we did. You see this red line? We measure this. Let's take all this out. All right. See this just drop out. Previous day low. What are we doing? You measure. Bam. Price cross 11.8. I'm in the trade. Take it to the what? 50 or 61. Out of the trade. We swept, trapped all the bears. Take this up. Okay. I can do this on any. Same thing here. See, previous day high, broke it. See this? This is what pushed it out. So you see what happens is when I focus, I can do this strategy. These are the assets that I'm going to be trading. 11.8. Boom. 50, 61. Choose it. Don't care if it went lower. That's the strategy. Done for the day. Boom. All right. Euro, Japanese yen, and you can choose what you want to trade. Same thing here. Push up, out. Okay. What are we doing? 11.8. Stop loss above. Take it to the 50. We'll be out. And hit the 61 as well too. If you want to take it to the 61, you can. Trades over. Those are 2 trades on just Forex alone. We're done. There's 2 trade setups that you could have did on Bitcoin. You're done. The only one that manifests is SPY. All right, it wasn't. We also have trend continuation, which you'll see right here. This is fib extension, continuation trades. Okay. This is what it would look like. It's essentially this. I'm not going to trade this until what? Measure the impulse. This level is violated. Price violates that. We do what? Go long. This needs to be violated. Go long. Here's the target. We're out of the trade. Not looking for entry down here to go long. Just looking for this. Right? The candle that created that ultimate high. Stop loss goes below here, right there. Keep it moving. I'll be uploading some of those. I got these strategies in other videos. I uploaded in this section for this week so people can go through. So this video will also be uploaded in this section as well under the June trade challenge, right? All right. So those are these are things I be using. Like the field black line method is when the 11.8 was crossed, then you go in, right? Some of you want to use the 23%, you can. All right, and I just showed you the field continuation trade. I'll show you a bearish one as well too, so you can see what it look like. I'm just gonna pick a random. Now let's pick one of those ones that we'll do autos on. All right, so you see it's autos on. Okay, so we got this impulse right here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna measure from here down to there. All right, we're gonna see if AutoZone can get down to 2,949 level. All right, if I was measuring this extension, that's what we're trying to get to. What happened? This, it was violated. Where's the stop loss? Remember, this is the furthest point. Stop loss actually goes right there. Now, for me, that's probably a little too far, but I'm just showing you that's how the trade works. Right? Sometimes it's massive like that, you may say, "Hey, I don't like that." You may move your stop loss into what we call the engulfing bar, meaning that this candle engulfed this candle, and then put the stop loss above or below the candle that got engulfed, and there you go. It's a sweet spot. This is like falling out the window. This is like falling out of the 10th floor. This is the first floor. Keep it moving. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. Right now, it'll be good too. You guys start notating on your chart for your note taking, and you can upload it. Right. I also gave you guys a template. You go hit reply, and you'll see right here I have templates. Right here, here's a sample template, what you focus on for the day. You can list them. What method did you use? What did you see in the market? So you see how I'm going over the market. I'm just talking. I can upload this video. That's my documentation, for that particular day. Trade log with asset setup use. I can say fib extension, black line method, previous day high low, whatever, entry, stop, target. You don't have to use this, but just give you something if you don't have anything. All right. What did you do well? What did you mess up with? Was you early? What you adjust for bar? Here's your proof of work. Update your chart, screenshots, whatever. All right, and then you grade yourself. You don't have to do this, but I'm just giving you something that if you feel like you're lost, you got it. This challenge is not about so-called teaching. It's about action, implementation, execution. Get messy, get dirty, just do something. Okay, that's what it's all about. All right. Like I said, you can use a sentiment strategy. You can use double top, double bottoms. Whatever the screeners you want to use, you go in here and FinVid. You can find other types of screeners that you can do. All right. But lock in, find something, and repeatedly do it. And get your work in. Get your reps in. A lot of you guys are not getting your reps in. Okay. So pay attention to that. But I'll be uploading most of the stuff in here. I won't be doing a whole lot of interacting inside of the Telegram channel, right? So of course this some stuff I'll be posting Telegram channel or whatnot. Right? But a lot of what I'll be doing will be inside of the members area of the Dark Horse Investor community that's on here on the labs. Okay. But always ask questions. Of course, you can come in, you can reply, you can comment, you can do it. But yeah, let's get the work in. I also be doing some, you see got the lunar cycles. We do got 2 lunar cycles that'll show up this coming in June. So I won't post it in the challenge, but I will definitely update you over here. So if I'm over here, the lunar cycle, you can see that I posted these charts last week. All right, like I said, we ended May with 100% success rate. All right, and like I said we'll see you in June. Okay, so we'll be looking for June's full moons and new moons, and we'll see how price action works around that. So we keep it moving. Other than that, I'll see y'all soon. Y'all get to it. Get your practicing on. Y'all have a great one.